Hey, Mike,
Hey, what's going down?
you're the first one, and I can hear you.
Cool.
That's a good start.
I just got a text from George, so he's not joining us.
He's not?
No. I don't
Oh,
know why. He didn't say why.
I see.
I'm guessing it's something to do with the fam.
Maybe the tornado hit it. There's a tornado up there.
Maybe the chickens are causing hell, raising all kinds of hell over there.
Mike,
Hey, how you doing?
what's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Pretty good.
What you eating?
It's looks like dirt. It looks like poo. Um,
You'll find it?
I found it out in the yard, laying down.
You found your breakfast in the yard?
It's cashew butter protein bar.
Ah.
Ew.
Oh yeah, the who?
Man, that is processed. That's been like through 15 factories.
Pretty good.
Is that the HU brand?
I don't know. Hold on, my water's boiling.
I got strawberries. I got these big giant blueberries too. They're fucking huge. Product of Brazil, I believe. It's the very first thing when you walk in the Stop and Shop. Berries, right?
Don't eat Brazilian
Like
berries.
raspberries.
It's
Fucking blueberries.
local berry season right now.
Strawberries.
Don't eat Brazilian berries. What's the matter with you?
Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries
They're
too.
big. They're huge. I'm gonna go get them.
Love them big berries, man.
Dude, this you can get really nice berries at Howard's Farm.
Take me down to Howard's Farm.
Unless you're taking those blueberry bushes in at night, they're open all night long.
Oh. Oh.
So how about that Trump mugshot?
Yeah, there's a lot of mug shots going around, eh?
Pretty funny.
Pretty crazy, man. We'll see if anything comes of it, but,
He'll never be found guilty for anything. Because on every jury, there's going to be at least one MAGA who will just insist on saying he's innocent. There'll be a hung jury and mistrial in every case. And the MAGAs will say, see, he didn't do it.
could be. I don't trust anything anymore,
That's what they want. They want you to not trust news sources. They want you to not trust science.
Look at
They want
this.
you to
Look
not
at the
trust-
size of this thing.
That's a good sized berry.
It's a blueberry.
Yeah, they got blueberries like that at Howard's Farm, right up the road from you.
Oh, right here, right in front of me.
Local berries taste better.
Me and Mike went around George Washington that time. Remember, we were in the canoe. We were picking berries, the ones that hang over on the water side. Nobody picks them there because it's the water side. And
They good.
well, yeah, we smoked weed, and then we got in this canoe and we sat Indian style, like right, and just kept moving along the shore. And Mike was
Yeah.
saving his. He had like a shitload at the end. I ate every one of mine. Next day, I had a big blue shit. That was great.
Like a bear turd.
Now, like, yeah, I think of that. Like a really big container of blueberries is like $8, right? But all the work to get a container full of that, like, it's worth it. Raspberries are great too. until you get a bad one, and then I'm done eating them. So I gotta take a break.
All right.
Like some PTSD too, man.
We got this string of raspberry plants growing along the border here between us and this apartment house over here.
They're cool.
And the Wicked Witch of the West over here, who moved out. She had to move because somebody else bought the apartment. It's like a nine unit apartment house. Somebody else bought it, right? And I only know this because one of the other tenants is really nice, and she came over and she was talking to me one day, and she said somebody just bought it and raised the rent from $950 to like 18 or 1900 a month. So a lot of them had to move out, including the Wicked Witch of the West over here, which was a good thing. But the last thing she did before she moved was she went around and she snipped. She broke all the raspberry plants.
In your yard?
Nah, they're kind of on the border, and they're kind of mostly in there, but some of them do come into ours.
They'll be back.
But she went along. The last thing she did, she went along and she broke every one of those plants, so nobody else could get the raspberries. You know,
What a bitch.
There wouldn't be raspberries for anybody else. You know,
She's a bitch.
she's worse than that. Yeah. Glad she's gone though.
Fuck that bitch.
She's gone. Next year the raspberries will be better because they were pruned.
That's right. Your neighborhood will be better too because she's gone.
Neighborhood's already better.
So now you're gonna have all rich people living next to you.
Yeah, well, it's better than assholes that try to poison your cat. You know.
Yeah.
No, you got poor people looking for ways to pay rent.
Right. Yeah, that was quite a jump, man. You know, $950 to like almost 2,000.
Yeah.
And they're shitty. I mean, the apartments aren't. It doesn't look bad, but you know, they're not worth that. You know what I mean?
When we were renting, it started off like $250 a month, and because it was at the time, the baby boomers were all dinks, double income, no kids,
Oh, yeah.
both people working, so the rents it just drove the rents right up. You know, in a year and a half, it was went from $250 to $650.
Yep.
That's more than twice, more than 100% jump in rent. Because they can afford it.
Right.
It went from like, hey, we're both working, we have all this luxury money, to, hey, now we all both have to work in order to survive.
Yeah, I try to be nice with the neighbors, and
Yeah.
not easy sometimes. You know. I mean, most of them are pretty cool. Most of them, you know, just do their thing, let you do your thing. And like for an suburban place, we get a lot of blockage here. You know, we get a lot of trees around and stuff. I think they all hate us because of that. You know, trees grow over their yard and things. You know, got to deal with that stuff. But
Fuck.
it was during the last podcast. Did I tell you that? The guy behind us was cutting trees in our yard.
Really?
Yeah, it was right after. It was 10 o'clock, and I went fixing some breakfast, and I look out my window, and this guy Andre, who's about our age, was walking around in my yard. And I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know. And he's like, "Oh, I was wondering if I could cut some trees over here that's touching my barn," you know. And I'm like, "Oh, hang on a second, let me come out, right?" And so I came out, and this was right after during our last podcast, Dave. Some guy was cutting trees in my yard here, and found out after the podcast I went out there. He had already cut like, I don't know, 4 or 5 that maybe like around round as a coffee cup kind of thing.
What gives them the right to cut trees on your property?
No, nobody. Couple of them were like, okay, whose property is
Get
that?
the fuck out of here!
So I said, well, I don't know, man. And I said, so I went back there and looked at it with him, and I'm like, yeah. I said, you know, you can touch the ones, you can cut the branches that are touching your barn and stuff. That's okay, but You know, we want to keep the rest. You know, and you fucked up all our grapes over here. We had all these grapes growing. He's the type of guy. He's like our age, but he's like he's a type of guy that's he's kind of a type A. Like somebody was painting the back of his barn for him, and they were like, "You got to get more sunlight on his barn," you know. And so he just like kind of freaks out, you know, that kind of guy, you know. And
Yeah, you're gonna have to freak out.
so he fucked up half our grapes. I got this grape arbor, you know, and half the grapes are dead now, you know, because they grow into the trees, and he cut those trees and he pulled them down. Killed the
Yeah,
grapes.
yeah.
They'll come back. I say, well, yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, but you're not coming back. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, in a couple of years, things will smooth out. Now that the weed's legal up there, people will start, spending more time on the couch, laughing and shit instead of, sniffing around for trouble outside.
Do you think that legalizing weed makes people smoke more, or makes more people smoke? I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't think it changes anything.
Yeah.
I think marginally, but I don't think it's enough to really. I don't think it would be enough to really make a difference. Like I
I
think
think there's a lot of people out there who have always wanted to smoke pot but haven't because it's illegal.
I don't think there's a lot of people like that. I think there's a few.
You think
There's
there's any?
a lot of people who smoked weed that can smoke a lot more now.
Yeah, but why would they?
What do you mean, why would they? Because they
Why would you
can.
smoke more than you normally. I could always smoke. I always had a bag of weed. I could
Yeah,
smoke
well, you're
as much-
different, man. Yeah, I know. We went to the farmer's market, and I threw that apple core, and the cop, sort of like at the cop, and you said, "What the fuck, Dave? I got weed on me." And I looked at you and you got weed on you? Like, you had weed on. We went just to go get fruit. And then we weren't going to... And also, you hadn't sparked it up with me, so there's that. You took it with you. But then I find out I got to throw an apple core. It was like in the general direction of the guy. And I was just, hey, I'm littering. An apple core. I figured I could fight that in court. You know?
It's not
And
really
then Mike goes, I go, now I'm a wreck, right? Now I look paranoid. Now the cop's starting to smell something. It was
not
awful.
littering. It's organic.
So there's no way you could increase your intake at your level, legal or not. Some of us were kind of, like not walking around all day with a bag in our pocket,
No, but I think there's a handful of people that would, say, okay, it's accepted. I don't think it's enough to really make a difference.
I smoke more now. I get stoned more.
Do you?
Yeah.
How?
What do you mean, how?
How do you get stoned more than you already were?
I went a long time without smoking weed at all. I went years actually, because I had to get that P test. I could have a P test at any moment. Yeah, when I became a god, I couldn't take it. I couldn't chance it.
Yeah, I don't smoke at all right now. I don't smoke at all. I like the idea of it, but I don't like what it all makes me feel.
I got the damn vape pen. That lasted 3 weeks, by the way. That one. On the next one now.
I don't do anything, man.
I gotta stop getting that indica. This is my last weekend, right? I'd hit the vape. I'd take a nap. I get up, take a vape, and then I take a nap. It was awesome. I mean, like, listen to the music and shit. I was in and out. It was like Cloud 9, man.
Wake up, eat a bowl of berries.
Yeah. I've been doing that a lot. Oh,
Nothing's better than being stoned and eating blueberries.
oh yeah.
I was helping Kermit move out of his house when he was first moving down to Florida, and Reno Tikkanen was staying with him because he was getting divorced from his wife or whatever. And Kermit starts to spark up a joint. And Reno goes, "Ah, you're smoking that shit. I can always tell when you're smoking that shit." And Kermit looks at him and says, "Oh, really? How about every single time I've ever come to your orchard to pick red berries? I'd smoke a big fatty before I went in there, and then just glom on the berry." And Reno's mouth just fell open, like he didn't know what to say after that. It's pretty funny. I don't know. I guess you had to be there.
Now
It was
everybody's stoned around you, man. You just don't know. Everybody's baked. Everybody who comes here to pick your shit is baked.
It's funny though. It's funny though. If you go a long time without it, like I do now, you can really tell.
Yeah.
And you can. I walk around the track, getting my exercise, and I can tell they're smoking.
Oh yeah, we can. I just met that berry guy. Whatever.
Berry guy.
The guy with the berries.
All this weather, man. What's going on with all this weather? Crazy weather.
I can do without tornadoes. They can stop now. I don't want one of them
Well,
coming
they're
by.
just going to increase.
What's this
More
thing?
chaos, more energy, more chaos. You're locking in more energy with greenhouse gases, so you got to expect more chaos. Just how it goes.
There's this thing going around the center of the country. You know, so it's like this cycle. You know.
Yeah.
It's like this heat storm cycle, like circling around the Midwest. You know.
Part of what makes things circle is actually the Earth spinning. Why our weather systems circle. It's why currents in the ocean circle. So as the Earth spins, it pushes
Coriolis effect.
the Coriolis effect. It spins. It's pushing typhoons or and hurricanes, or whatever, in the opposite direction as it's moving. So the ones on the upper hemisphere are spinning one way, and the ones on the southern hemisphere are spinning another way.
Toilets are
It's
spinning
the
different
motion
too.
of the Earth that affects us. Pretty
Toilet.
wild.
The toilet does that thing, right? Check this out, right?
I think it's the increase in rotaries. You know.
I don't even know what that means.
The
Is that-
rotaries, the roundabouts.
Is that
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
I think there's so many of those now that I think it's affecting the weather.
I was down in Sedona, right? People kept talking about this. Sedona is this like magic place, and there are all these vortexes.
Oh yeah.
You got to try to get in one, I guess. And sure enough, we went down there. There was a vortex at every intersection.
Yeah. Asheville supposedly had one.
I'm going around. I'm going. So this is the vortex they were telling me about. Oh, this is pretty wild.
Like it's like how fast you're going while you're standing on the planet. Like if you're on the equator, I mean you're cooking because you're on the
Oh, yeah.
planet there, right? But if you're in the North Pole, you're doing this. It takes a whole day to do this little circle. Yeah, it still takes a day to do it, but up on the pole, it's like there's a pole that it takes all day to do that boring, right? But down at the equator, it's like yep, wind in your hair.
Give me a taco. Hey.
I was just thinking, like, if you're on the equator, right, and you look up, like, you can look north and south and get the sky. So, like, I guess if you look up, it's like, I gotta look at that later. I thought of it this morning, and I didn't even go to the Stellarium to look.
I guess,
What it's like
I
to
guess
be on the
depends
equator
on
and stargaze.
what direction you're looking in. Right?
Well, up here we look south, and down here we look north because that's where all the action is, So, if you actually make it all the way south and north, which is the equator, right? So I guess it's like you can see.
Just look up.
Yeah, you look up, and it would be like there might be like a line of stars like this. I'm thinking it like that, but I don't know. I'm gonna check later.
I don't know. I want to go to the southern part so that I can look at the center of the universe. I've always wanted to look at the center of the universe, of the galaxy. I mean,
I recommend it. It's fucking wild. It feels alien. Like the planet is just like you're on the wrong planet. You know what I mean? That's what it felt like. It was like, and I didn't even know I was looking at it. I knew it was just flat different. Yeah. Do you ever see that, like, Predator, the one, like, kind of a recent one? It was,
Sin Wall.
the special forces people and, like, drug dealers, like, really bad people, they take them to their planet, right? They take them to the moon and just release them there. And they're running through the woods and shit. They're trying to get, and when they come out into a clearing, there's like 2 moons and a thing that looks like Saturn in the sky. And they're like, what the fuck? Where the fuck are we? A predator hunting moon or something. That's a good one. I like that one a lot. A lot of people hated it, but I thought it was good. That's another one.
So-
All right, Predator is the other one. I can watch any iteration. I watch 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? And Star Trek's blah, 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 blah. Just keep making them. I don't give a fuck. I'm going. You know, it's like the Blues Brothers know, and like it's just only because I didn't feel like it. I just didn't. And Ghostbusters, and there's just some movies I never bothered to do it too, or the 3.
Yeah, the second Blues Brothers movie was okay.
Yeah, I heard
I got
that.
it at the present, so I had to watch it. You know,
It was just kind of like a music video, though.
Yeah,
You know?
but it was good. As a music video, it was good.
I don't doubt it. I'm not like against it. I just don't feel
They
like
crashed double. They crashed more cars, more cop cars, so that was cool.
Belushi wasn't in that
I don't know how you could.
Dead.
one. Yeah, like, fuck it. Who was the, you know,
But
Well,
John Goodman played that character.
who was place? Jim? Was it Jim Belushi?
He played well. He wasn't that. He wasn't the same character. He wasn't Jake,
Okay.
but he took up with Elwood. I started hanging around with Elwood, and
What, Jim Belushi's in it?
no,
Oh,
Oh, okay, he's not.
John Goodman.
But Jim
Elwood
Belushi,
gets out of prison. They told him he's standing out there waiting and waiting to get picked up, and nobody comes, and the sun goes down, you know. So they come out and tell him that Jake's dead. Jake died. And so he's standing there, and this convertible rolls up with this beautiful girl in it. It says, "Get in, Elwood." And he gets in, and she takes him to the bar that she dances at. And it's his old drummer who's running the place. It's a strip club. So, hey, you can stay here for a while, whatever. And he meets the guy that was working there, is John, the big guy there. And that's how it goes. And they have this big adventure. And there's a kid, and there's another guy who's a cop who's turns out he's related to them. He's because remember in the first movie, Cab Calloway was the janitor. Well, he had this illegitimate son, who's this big detective in Chicago, and the guy didn't know he was illegitimate until Elwood came in and told him, stole the car to come get him, to go there and tell him. So we're like brothers. He was like a father to me, so we're like brothers.
you know, brothers.
but Jim Belushi, he stepped in as being the Blues Brothers. So
Got some good movies. He did all right.
he stepped in the Blues Brothers kind of thing. He tried to be John, right?
He did?
Yeah, I think he was like took John's place in the Blues Brothers for a while, like as the band, you know.
Oh,
I think so. I think I remember seeing that.
Huh.
Anyway, he's one of those guys that tried to step in, you know, fill the role of John a little bit.
you can't.
You can't, man. John Belushi was one of a kind, you know. He was one of a kind, that guy.
That's Elwood actually playing the harmonica though in those.
Oh yeah.
He's actually drummer too. Dan Aykroyd was a drummer.
Is he?
Yeah, before he became famous, he was like us. He was like a regular guy who was a musician, you know.
His big thing now is I heard him on Rogan a while ago, but like a vodka company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's big into aliens.
Yeah, huge into aliens. Yeah.
Crystal Skull, man. Me and George drank Crystal Skull up on his porch. Dan Aykroyd's
Yes.
Crystal Skull vodka.
Is that his company?
Very strange afternoon.
Yeah. I bet.
Drinking hard alcohol with you, Dave,
I think-
that is going to add up to a strange afternoon.
I think, yeah. Joy remembered why she doesn't like me. That was fun.
There was fun.
It was good. It was smooth. I like the fucking crystals. I like the bottle. I just want to get and just keep filling it with pop off or whatever the fuck, right?
Pop off, Jesus.
Yeah, pop off. You can put pop off in there, and like people drinking it out of. You see, right? You see anybody who calls you out on it. Just see.
I
Yeah, I bet nobody knows. Nobody can tell.
I could never do that, man. I could never drink hard stuff ever.
Yeah, I used to be able to.
Oh, oh, the things you've missed, Mike.
I know, I know. I just my body didn't like it.
Where's my TV? Where's my pants?
Who am I? Why am I here?
Here's something that, at first I thought was really disgusting,
This is not my beautiful house.
but I've come to like a little bit. Some scotch.
Yeah.
I went to a scotch tasting and got appreciation for it, and when I was when we were up in Minnesota the Boundary Waters, like some of the guys brought like high test bourbon, and one guy brought a nice bottle of scotch. So I got to taste them next to each other, and you just sip on it. It's nice, pretty good. I found out I like scotch better than bourbon.
I like vodka martinis. Holy fuck, with an olive.
What's in it?
Those are good.
What's in a vodka martini besides vodka?
Cold vodka, and an olive.
It's just vodka and an olive.
But they put it in a shaker, and they get it at that temperature, and then they put it over an olive with a stick in it.
It's just straight vodka.
Yeah, those.
Yeah, it's kind of
I'll actually like 3 olives. It gets in there. You know what I mean? And the olives are awesome because they'll actually get like a bowl of vodka. Yeah. Is that your imitation of a drunk?
We're just starting to slur just talking about it.
Was I?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm having a stroke.
You're going there. Just talking about it, you're going there. I don't know, man.
The dry drunk. That's what they do.
Fred is still in fucking trauma city from that time you turned your headlights off and was bumping his car.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Those are the things you do.
Well,
Then you wake up. What happened?
I'd have done that sober. I think I was.
You would have.
You were not sober.
I flew in a Volkswagen sober with you. I wasn't drunk
Yeah.
that day. Me, you, and Bendo went over that motherfucker. Then the cop showed up. They were playing it like the dog made. Yeah, I was playing it so I couldn't catch Bender. I could catch Bender. I just tell her to come. She'd come, right? So instead, I go into play mode with Bender, and she starts running. And like the cop got bored because I just didn't want him to see me drive out. I knew I couldn't turn the wheels. He'd have known, right? Yeah. He finally just got sick of it. I'm chasing Bender around and said, I gotta get my dog. Get him. And he left. It worked. And then we went up, saw Marty Martin's father.
Yeah.
And he pulled it with his truck with a bar, and it was like, I never did anything after that. I never had to do anything.
There you go. Yeah.
What a day. That was fucking great. It was a great day. Buttonhole. It's right over here. I haven't gone over to it. I know where it is, but I haven't gone to it. I could. I
It's
take my
more or
Jeep
less
down
a
there.
real park now.
I think it's like a golf course. Everything's built. I'm sure it sucks now. I'm sure it does.
But for a short time, one summer, I got into a little bit into gin and tonics with Russ Hudson over at Russ's house, on an afternoon. Those were kind of tasty.
What was this now? Now you're starting to sound drunk.
Gin and tonic, babe.
Gin and tonic?
Yeah.
Hey.
In the summer, like on a summer night.
No, there's nothing good about gin.
Nothing good.
Gin's very bad. Everybody, even people I know who drink gin. When they start drinking gin, it's going to be,
What about slow gin fizz?
I remember that back when we were kids. Holy shit.
Yeah, slow gin fizz, baby.
Slow gin fizz. I remember making them.
Gin is like, I don't know, it's like birch bark or something. You know what I mean? It's got like there's like wood in it.
The winter green.
Oh, it's got those berries. It's juniper berries.
Yeah, but it reminds me of like there's like this one. I tasted everything in our woods, right? You know what I mean? We always tried the bark because there was that one that tasted. A couple of them tasted good. But,
Black birch.
yeah, but some not so much. Remember like there was even grass, some grass like there was onion grass, and there was like well, so it was like a clover that was pretty good, like sour.
Yeah, oxalis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
What was it?
We used to
It
eat
was
that like a bunch
sassafras.
when we were
Fucking
kids.
sassafras, right?
Sassafras, you make tea out of the roots of the bark
Nah,
from the roots.
just take the bark off and like you had to taste it, right? Because on the inside, that pulp sort of like just scrape with your teeth.
I remember trying to drink rum at a party at Terry Brick's house, and had too much rum and whatever. And remember, I was talking. I was probably 16 or 17, you know. And I was first time drinking a lot of rum, you know. Talking to George Morgan, you know that guy. And I'm like, all of a sudden it hit me, man. Like, I gotta go outside. George was like, oh, yeah,
Did you make a mess of your shirt?
I'm out behind the trailer. Whoa!
I did that in Mexico. We were going down, we were drinking whiskey on the way down, and we got to Ensenada, it's in Baja, and I had one shot of tequila in the bar, one, right, and it's literally spin. The room literally started, like, I remember it was like I was really spinning, right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I go outside, I'm in the alley, and there's these kids trying to rob me now, these little, young kids, because another drunk gringo and shit, right? So I was using vomit as a weapon. And then, and I don't remember anything. I woke up in my friend's truck, the car we went down in. I woke up back on the pier to the ship. He just left me in there.
What a scene that was. It was like something out of, the Coen brothers or something, you know. The guy. He's
That was,
involved.
I don't know how I got out of it. I remember doing that. It was like bits and pieces,
Yeah.
And but
Remember Southern Comfort?
oh,
You're drinking Southern Comfort?
I remember.
once, I could never go near it again.
Well, that was the thing
Some
with
of them are
rum.
like that. There's some liquors that you should just never go near.
That was the
There's
thing with the
sweet
rum, though.
ones
I was-
like Jägermeister and like
Oh, yeah.
schnapps.
Jägermeister is good for cold medicine, cough medicine.
Yeah.
Herbs.
I keep a bottle of it in the freezer for when I have a flu or something.
But that was the thing with the rum, man. I was like the life of the party, you know. I was fucking shucking and jiving, and then all of a sudden, like this, boom, the lights were out. You know, it was over. I was even behind the trailer. You know, nobody wanted to be my friend.
That's the whole thing right there. You just said everything. Everything
Yeah.
it's all there. That's a complete story. That's a whole alcohol
The
story.
whole thing, man.
Life of the party. It's
I don't think I
nothing.
drank rum since.
Me and John put away a bottle of 151 rum one night.
That's some deadly shit.
And it's 151. Right? And so we were down in Burrville, and we drank a whole fucking bottle like this.
Oof.
And
Burrville?
he
Should
got
have
me
died.
home.
There's a story.
Crawled into the house, and then in the night I started vomiting. It looked like coffee grounds.
Ooh.
It was actually blood.
Ooh.
And luckily I didn't bleed to death. But I had a hangover for 3 days afterwards. So I'd had alcohol poisoning, basically.
Yeah.
And it was bad hangover for 3 days. It was really, really bad. So I never drank that again.
Oh, never again.
When you get sick on something, you don't do it again, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I got really sick on ambrosia when I was a kid.
Really?
You know ambrosia?
That
Yeah,
sounds
like
familiar.
pudding and cream and stuff.
Like mandarin oranges and cream, and, you know? I got really sick on that because I ate too much or something, you know? And I never touched it since, man. You don't want to get sick on ambrosia, dude.
I'll try to avoid it. I don't even know what it is, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be all right.
Oh man, it's good as long as you don't get sick on it. Got sick on fried clams once. That was horrible.
Oh,
That was horrible. I was laying down in the back of the car.
you can't eat fried clams anymore?
Not for a long time. But
Yeah, that's like the worst way to eat them, I think. Like
Right.
steamers.
it's tasty though.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. One time we came back from, we did a week camping trip up in Maine, the family. And we came back through and we were really hungry. We were really hungry for protein because we'd been eating carbs all week, right? So we stopped at, right next to Kittery Trading Post, is a little clam shack. And they had whole belly clams, fried clams, and they were so good. Remember, just like that belly would burst and fill your
Oh, yeah,
mouth
they
with
are
this
good.
wonderful seafood flavor, you know?
Until you get a belly that's full of sand, then you're done. Then you go home. 'cause
No, they
you,
don't.
You bite on a pebble, and it goes
No,
through your
because they-
skull.
They know what they're doing. They're like a regular clam shack. They do it all the time. So they're not feeding you the clams that just came out of the mud. They're feeding you the ones that have been soaking with the cornmeal and all that.
But if they're done right, yeah, they're good. But that doesn't always happen.
They were,
It happened to
they
me
were
in
excellent.
George's.
They were really good. We got fried shrimp. We got fried fish. We got all this seafood. And we all just feasted on this. It was great.
Remember Johnny's Clam Spot?
Oh yeah.
That's why I ate them. Yeah, that's where we used to go. Probably you did too, right? With your
Oh,
family.
we used to open up for
They
what,
had
the
the
other
malted fish. Remember
Yeah,
they had
they
malted fish in there? It's the only place I ever saw it. Like I'd see like on cartoons and shit, like people would mount a fish, right? But Johnny's Clam Spot had mounted fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a deer head. Some guy I knew, well, my dad knew had mounted deer heads, but he didn't have no mounted fish. You know, one guy I knew had a bear skin. He was in Vermont, and he everybody used to comment on how small it was. It seemed small. Just when it covered a couch, a regular sized couch, and they go, "Well, it still looked kind of small." And he says, "Yeah." Yeah, and he said, "Yeah, I wish the fucker was a cub by the time I got done dragging it out of the woods." That's what he said. Says it wasn't. It's just things people do. I don't have any things like that. You never mounted a head, did you, Mike? You never did shit like that, did you?
No, but I've got antlers. I kept antlers.
Well, yeah.
Some of them are skull. Some of them like a European that you cut off the skull with them. Some of them are just the antlers. I cut off a little piece of the skull, but some of them have like the full face.
You kept hides though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the hides tanned.
Oh, the
Yeah.
hides. Yeah, I know. You wore one once, right? Remember? You still got
Oh, yeah,
that?
I got
It was sort of
several.
like it was just like a poncho.
Yeah, that thing kept me warm. I had two forkhorn bucks. I got both of them at the end of the season in the middle of winter, so their fur was really thick. And I had them tanned fur on, and then I sewed them together at the shoulder here, and so I could put it on and then just wrap a rope around and close it off. And it was hardly ever cold enough for me to wear it out on the coldest nights and put that thing on to stay warm, and it kept me warm.
Was that a real poncho? I mean, was that a Foster poncho? Or was that a Sears?
No, it was a real poncho.
Was Lefty around?
Poncho and Lefty. No. Lefty turned him in. That's what happened.
But that Billy Bragg response to that song is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me that song and said, "Oh, you gotta hear this, man. It's fire. It's lighting up the land. You know, it's like everybody's on fire right now."
Did I?
And I
I
listened-
sent you that. I sent you
And I
that.
listened, and it was like, yeah, man, I agree with some of what he's saying, but some of it's just fucking divisive, stupid bullshit. You know?
Did you see? I sent you the rest of the story.
Did you? I didn't see that. No.
The kid gets on a video and talks about how pissed off he is that like the right wing took his song. It's like it's
Oh, really?
about him. He's going. It's like,
Yeah.
they're the rich men north of Richmond that I'm singing about. You know, he's like.
Yeah.
I sent you that thing. You should watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah.
I like
You know,
that
we're
Billy
talking-
Strings.
You know what I'm talking about?
That Billy
Yeah.
Strings video was pretty good, Mike. I like that.
Oh yeah, Billy and Willie.
Yeah.
Billy's great. I saw him and Molly Tuttle together. It was really good. They're both unbelievable.
The guy just plays with everybody. You know.
Oh yeah, because he can.
You know.
He's that good that everybody wants to play with him. He's that good.
Sierra Hull. And
Oh yeah, she's great too.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And yeah, him and Willie was great. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
devil on my shoulder always wins.
Yeah.
God damn it. What a
Guy's
kid.
got it. I mean, you know, for a young guy, you know.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's a prodigy.
Now I'm drinking
It's
rum
Nickel
and
Creek.
I'm the life of the party.
I saw Nickel Creek this summer.
Yeah.
They were great.
They're a new album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
That's cool that that guy didn't really just totally abandon them. You know? Just
No, they're still really close. You know, like when they did American Acoustic, like she was part of that show.
Yeah.
Which you could have seen for nothing and you didn't.
Where's that?
They were playing in Portsmouth. I
Yeah.
told you to go see them, and you're like, yeah. I didn't discover them. I'm not interested.
What?
Hey, did you see that Leonard Skinner documentary they have on Netflix?
I did, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good. I like them. It was weird. This is how I found out about Leonard Skinner. I got I was listening to Neil Young in Mississippi, and this guy quotes, you know, so the man don't need him around anyhow, you know, Sweet Home Alabama, that line.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's wrong with people, right? I just didn't even understand. I didn't even know what the fuck that was coming from because, you know, we didn't have the internet back then. We didn't have a lot of information. I found out these things piecemeal once in a while. So, yeah. And, yeah, I liked it. Turned out I liked Leonard Skinner a lot. So I had him. I had Neil Young and Leonard Skinner in my collection. And they did not catch fire when they touched. So
No, they actually talked about that. Neil Young was cool with being mentioned that way. He was.
yeah,
He's
they
cool
were
with-
cool too. They were pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they actually, at the time, at the height of their fame, they were actually more hippies than
Oh yeah,
rednecks. You know?
Saturday Night Special.
Yeah.
Handguns are made for killing, ain't good for nothing else. I suggest we all throw them at the bottom of the sea before somebody goes around and shoots either you or me. You know, fuck yeah, man. So the boys,
when they were at their peak, you know, like we hated them, you know.
Oh God.
did you?
Like me and Mike hated them because John and Terry, all they want, and all the other bands, that's all they played was Give Me Three Step. We wanted to play other stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, everybody just yells Freebird everywhere. There's people that still yell that, you know, but it's not their fault. You know, people
No,
are
I know.
morons. You know?
I like them
No,
way
but
better.
also, not only that, but everywhere you went, every kid had Leonard Skinner blasting from their car.
Yeah.
You know, like it was everywhere, and every band was playing all their songs. And Mikey and I were into doing some, you know, having a band that sounded different from everybody else's band. You know, and we were forced to play that fucking song, which sucked so bad.
I had Give Me Back My Bullets. It was that's what I had. I had that tape. It was good. I don't
No,
know.
they were a great rocking band, man.
Yeah.
No way around it. They were great in their day, in their
They
prime.
really were.
But that's another one, you know, they should have never came back. You know, the brother tried to take the place,
Yeah.
Yeah. and two original members or whatever, one original member, and then he died. You know, but
Yeah,
that
it's over, Johnny. It's
at
over.
this, and they were getting ready to play Madison Square Garden, you know, and the plane went down, you know, and
A ship plane. They should have been taken care of by then. Their fucking record company fucked them good. They were-
Aerosmith turned that plane down like days before that they took
Really?
it. Yeah. Aerosmith
Hey, you know
looked
what's a good story? Waylon Jennings was a bass player for Buddy Holly. And after he left the Crickets, you know, and they were going on tour, and Buddy Holly was going to get in the plane with the Big Bopper and Richie Valens. And and all the lesser guys were getting on the tour bus, and nobody wanted to be on the tour bus because it didn't have heat. It was wintertime. And so Buddy Holly says to Waylon Jennings, because they used to bust each other's balls, they were buddies, you know, "Hey, I hope you freeze to death on the bus." And he goes, "Yeah, I hope your plane crashes."
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that story. I heard that story before. Yeah. Well, that's something you'd say, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Especially
Yep.
somebody that age.
But that plane went down in the middle of a hayfield in like what state was that? Midwest somewhere, you know, Idaho, somewhere like that. And like to this day, you can walk out there and see there's a little monument for that plane down, right? And it's just like on this there's like a barbed wire fence, and there's nothing there other than like a little cross or something, you know, and a few little tokens, you know. But
Yeah, it's like that Leonard Skinner site, right? That guy even dug up a piece of the plane. He said it's all over the place here. He just kicked it to the ground and found a piece of plane. You know,
there's still pieces out there.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, that was a hard scene, man.
The music died.
The drummer, you know, found his way out of the woods to get help, and you know. Then they gave him shit, thinking that he was just trying to save himself, you know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
People are fucked.
Yeah. And then what about Stevie Ray? I was watching his thing, right? He was playing. It was in Minnesota, I think, right? And he left the gig in a small was it a helicopter?
I think it was a helicopter.
Helicopter, yeah. And it hit the hill, like right behind us, right in the same place, you know, right behind the stage. It went, just slammed into a hill, and like a ski hill, you know. And it slammed into the hill, middle of the day, you know, and nobody heard it over the music.
Wow.
And it sat there until like it didn't arrive at its destination, you know. And I think the next morning they traced it back, you know. But it was really close to where he was playing, and nobody knew.
Oh, shit. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, I went through a real morbid period this winter where I was looking at all that stuff, you know. A lot of death.
right? If a plane crashes in the wood and nobody's there to hear it, does it make a noise?
Well, one leads to the other, you know. You watch like all this stuff on Buddy Holly, and then I think it was Buddy Holly, the anniversary. It was the day the music died, you know. And I started looking at it on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers that go out there, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's a YouTuber that's gone everywhere. if you're interested in a spot, you can find a YouTuber who has gone there and
on the couch anymore.
saw a ghost or whatever the fuck. I like those videos, abandoned places. I watch a lot of those. People, I fucking love abandoned places.
Yeah. So does Steve. Camping with Steve.
Yep.
That's a great that's a great story there, because like we were all watching Camping with Steve, but we hadn't talked about it. And, like, so one day you go, "Hey, I'm watching this guy Camping with Steve." I'm like, "Ah, really? Me too." And then Dave one day is like, "Oh, I've been watching this guy Camping with Steve."
Yeah. Us and 3 million other guys. Other people.
Millions
Yeah,
of
we're
other
the
people.
three,
Yeah,
right?
it's amazing.
George is the one that doesn't watch Camping with Steve, right?
Doesn't.
Yeah, all right. So we're the Camping with Steve guys.
I haven't watched him in a while though. Is he still doing it?
Yeah.
I've watched it once or twice since his wife died. You know, like he hasn't been very regular and stuff, you know, which is understandable. But,
I rang the bell. I get notified immediately.
Yeah.
I'm one of the first 100 watching the fucking thing.
Well, I watched one where he went out chasing storms with a guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I actually remember the one before the very last one he did before his wife died. It was pretty cool. He was up by the border. He even like snuck across, like they did that, you know.
Yeah.
What was weird about the one where he was chasing storms though? He had to drive all the way home and he couldn't find a place to camp. I'm like, you're Steve, man. Just camp anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think what he meant, no place interesting for us.
Yeah. He kept going by these places. So it's like, just pull off. There's a place to pull off right there.
He's a filmmaker. I want to see. Did you see the one where those college kids went with him to make a documentary?
No,
Yeah.
I was always wondering, like, what's his deal? You know, where's the documentary and shit?
it's one of those documentaries that never came out.
There's a. I like the road signs. I like that.
Yeah.
Being right by the highway. You know.
And he almost screws himself. He gets out and looks at he tries to get the perspective of what he looks like, you know.
He is overly paranoid.
Almost always gets caught doing that, you know.
Nobody gives a fuck all what he's doing. You know what I mean? They just don't.
And
Nobody
I
gives a
was
shit.
fucking looking at
Yeah,
it.
nobody cares. There's tons of people camping behind road signs, you know,
Not my
because they don't have
problem.
any place to live. This is just some camper. He's not like a vagrant. They don't give a fuck about him.
It's not my road sign.
Gotta watch out for the human excrement, though.
You don't want to go near him because of it. That's right. That's all the reasons why he won't get bugged, because of human excrement.
Right.
People will be concerned about their shoes. They don't want to get near the guy who's sleeping by the road.
They'll use his excrement as a weapon.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That'll clear him. That'll clear a path for you, man. Just get a big handful and start running at him. Just holding a steamer right here. And go, ah. It's like those Viking guys with the axe. That was
Right.
not an effective weapon. But boy, they got a bunch of people to run the other way when that guy was in front. Like, he was actually almost he was doomed when he got there, because you can't do anything with an axe. You get one shot and then you get the sword, you know. But here comes Sven with the fucking axe. You know. Going back to my farm. Okay, see ya. Fucking axe. An axe. Not an axe. An axe.
With an E on the end.
Yeah. How the hell did I get there?
I don't know. You're stoned.
I am. It's nice.
What's your plan for the day? What are you guys going to do?
I'm hanging out with the wife. I got the day off. Stormy. You know.
Stormy down there?
Yeah. It's nice and rainy.
Sunshiny up here.
It's supposed to clear up. I'm going to a friend's wedding today.
Wow.
Sorry to hear that. Ooh,
Actually, two kids I've known since they were little.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've known them since they were kids, and they're friends of Sequoia's.
what's their names?
Oh,
No,
you don't want to
Zane
say
and
on.
Rowan.
You don't want to say so.
Or you don't want to say?
He doesn't want to say on the airwaves.
Oh, it's
It's
controversial.
okay. It's Zane,
Well,
Zane
who
and
knows? I
Rowan.
mean, it's,
Zane and Rowan are getting married.
who?
They've been together forever. They split up for a while because they had been together since they were like in grade school,
Right.
and
you
then
gotta
they
say.
got together again, and they're just going to stay together because they think they're perfect for each other.
Yeah, when you get together that young, you gotta. There's got to be a time where you think, oh, there's more out there. You know?
Yeah,
It's just-
that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, no matter how young you are when you get married.
like, how do I know this is the one? You know.
I need another opinion. I need.
I need to see what else is. I need to
I
kick some
need, I need to
time.
know more things, I think.
Well, you'd be 85 in a nursing home. You'd be like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
What if I'm going to miss something?
That I
Okay.
can't even. No.
Good for them.
No.
How old are they?
I don't know, they say that they do that, but I don't know.
I think she is. I think she's 31 or 30.
Oh, Jesus, oh, they're in their 30s. Huh?
He's 33. Zane's really cool.
That's how old
He's
I
been a
was.
sound man since school. Now he's got electric degrees and he can do all kinds of electrical stuff, you know.
Oh, he's got bread. You got
Rowan
bread.
Rowan comes from a really interesting family and just really cute, really fun, really nice person, really smart, you know.
So it should be a good wedding, huh?
Yeah, a lot of my friends will be there.
Good
That's
food
cool.
and everything.
Guys I've been on trips with will be there.
You getting
Can't
the,
pick
you
up.
getting getting the chicken or the beef?
Beef. No, it's probably going to be more likely. It's going to be venison.
Venison, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, all those guys like in that group, like they're all hunters. You know.
Joanne just became a great aunt, and the little girl was born just a couple days ago, and they named her Nolan.
Huh.
Like Nolan Ryan,
Yeah.
But anyway, I was saying, oh, geez, bring a kid into the world now. It's going to be so different. I know people have been saying this for a long time, right? But I'm thinking, is it really going to be that different in 20 years? I think
It'll
it
be
is.
fine,
I think in some ways it is, though.
People just
And-
keep coming.
Yep.
Don't let them.
But Joanne's like, how is it going to be different? And I'm like, no, I mean, the medical field's going to be different. That's for
Man,
sure.
it's way different from when I grew up. Fuck. I lived in olden times, for Christ's sakes. Rotary phones, all that shit.
That's what I said.
Antennas on
That's what I
TVs.
said. I said, think about when we were born and then what happened 20 years later, the internet,
This is weird now. So fucking weird. You got no
You
privacy.
get weirder.
Every phone records everything you do, everything you
You
say.
get weirder
That's what I mean. But she was like, well, how? And I'm like, trying to think. I'm like,
in every way possible.
how is it going to be different in 20 years? So, in
20
reality,
years. 20 years. All right. Well, within the next 20 years, the Atlantic current may stop, and so these nice rainstorms during the summer here will be snowstorms.
You'll have chips in your head. The whole internet will be in your head. It'll be like hooked up to your brain and shit. You can pay with, your identity can't be stolen because, it's part of you.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. I saw a cool kind of mini series about that, and of course someone learned how to hack them, and they were fucking with people. And there's no getting rid of it. It's in your head. It becomes your reality, and someone's hacking your reality.
Yeah, talk about Philip K. Dick. Damn near every book is about that. Your reality
Yeah,
getting fucked with one way or the other.
I'm not going to get a chip in my head ever.
so how much of this is just, science fiction and how much is going to be really different in 20 years,
Could be very different, Mike.
I
Oh,
know.
it'll be different. It'll be way
I mean, if
different.
the Atlantic current stops, it could be really different.
Yeah.
And they're saying it could stop as early as 2025. I don't think it will, personally, but I don't think it'll stop that early. But maybe in that kid's lifetime it will. And then, like places like England, they revert back to tundra like they should be. Without that warm current circulating, they'll just fucking freeze. They're way north. They're like as north as like Alaska. So that'll be different. Bigger storms.
It always makes me think, like, like these two people, they're both pharmacists, They both got fairly wealthy families. They own their own house. They're in their late 20s, in Massachusetts. It's like, this kid is going to be okay. You know what I mean? But all the millions of kids that were born that day, or hundreds of thousands or whatever, in ghettos in India, places like that. What's behind that? You know what I mean? I always go there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Like,
when you're that poor, you don't have condoms, you don't have birth control pills.
the luck that this spirit comes into this, like, going to be okay, like, born into this place, and in the United States with two parents that are well employed and all these safety nets, then there's these kids born into nothing,
Yeah,
poverty.
Yep. You won the lottery. You got born in this country, white and male. Fucker.
and man. Yeah,
But then that kid, born in an Indian ghetto, could have like an IQ of 180.
I met one of them. I had a conversation with this guy, and he works. He's paid by MIT to think about stuff, and what he studies is group coordinated groups like Hive Mind.
Yeah.
And he studies like ant hive mind, beehive mind, and human hive mind. You know, he looks at cities the same way.
Yeah.
He grew up in a dirt floor. He went to school at a dirt floor in a shed. You ever see that that video where the tiger jumps out of the grass and up onto these people that are on the elephant?
Yeah.
And he lived right like a few miles from there.
Yeah.
They had elephants. They lived like every day they went into the jungle to find food. But he was really good at math, and his teachers recognized him, so they sent him to college. And then he got sent over here, and he's working at MIT, studying hive mind.
Yeah, so where you're born, the circumstances, it doesn't say everything, you know. It doesn't say everything. It's
not in every case.
No.
But I'm sure there are Da Vinci's or Einsteins that are just going to waste in some rice paddy somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, or some fucking African desert or whatever, or some ghetto in you know, Chicago or whatever. You know, there are people who are brilliant as those guys, and they just aren't going to have the opportunity.
Right.
And that's a shame. It's a waste. Hey, this call's about to end. See you guys.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you.
And 3.
It's not gonna do it when you want. That's when we wanted it, right there. Okay,